The U.S. added 431,000 jobs in March, slightly lower than analysts expected. But the unemployment rate dropped 3.6%, down from 3.8% a month ago. This as President Biden announced the U.S. would release 1 million barrels of oil per day from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve over the next 6 months in an effort to curb rising gas prices. So let's bring in business correspondent Deirdre Bolton and ABC News political director Rick Klein for more on this. Deirdre, what do these numbers say about the state of the economy?
The labor market looks great. You mentioned that slight headline miss as for the number of jobs added to the economy. But if you look at the revisions, January and February revised higher by 95,000 jobs. You also had more people coming off the sidelines back into the labor market. We're actually, for that labor force participation rate, we're actually only 1 point away from the level where we were in February 2020. That is a great sign. And as far as the groups that we saw a lot of strength, we saw leisure and hospitality to continue to gain ground, which is really important. As we know, this was really the hardest hit sector during the pandemic. We also saw particular strength in manufacturing as well, but really a lot in business and professional services, retail. So we're seeing a kind of rebound, if you like, in all of these sectors. If there is a little rain cloud that's going to follow us with this report.
No, we've had enough rain clouds.
Yeah, you're like, zip it. We don't need any more. It is that it is going to put the Fed in a position to continue an aggressive rate hike. That is important to you and me because any borrowing that we do becomes more expensive. So car loans, mortgages, credit card rates, all of those rates go higher. And then on top of it, if we are running a business, it also becomes more expensive for us to borrow for our businesses. So that's the rain cloud. Otherwise, a very strong jobs report.
Okay, we'll take the good news where we can find it. Rick, President Biden is set to address the nation on the state of the economy today. So what can we expect to hear from him there?
Yeah, what's striking is he's got a good story to tell. It's just not clear that anyone wants to hear it at this moment. So I'd expect that you'd see a bit of a modulated tone where he's going to champion some of the gains that we're seeing in the historic job growth that we've seen now consistently through his presidency, while also cautioning that people may not recognize it because of rising prices and because of continued disruptions, whether those are related to the pandemic or the war in Ukraine or more global forces. All of those things are coming together for the fact that even while we have a very strong economy on paper and by almost every metric you can imagine, people aren't feeling it. And I think you've seen a shift in tone from President Biden that I'm expecting to continue to hear this morning, which is, yes, we're making progress, but yes, there's also a lot of work to be done. And I think the way that he has framed this as about the war in Ukraine and about the struggles to reopen the economy fully post-pandemic and about those drags on the economy, I think are an important part of the message, because otherwise we know from experience over the last couple of months in polling, people are not receptive to a message that doesn't reflect the realities as they live them.
Yeah, and Deirdre, the national average price for a gallon of gas is down a penny overnight, but still $1.34 higher than a year ago. So how much of an impact do you see this release of 1 million barrels a day from the oil reserve having in the next few weeks and months?
It's a pretty significant number, right? This 180 million barrels per day being released. I mean, this brings us back to our stock levels since 1984. RBC put out a note saying, bottom line, hope the U.S. doesn't have a real energy emergency, because we are now going to be pretty low once we've gone through this 6 months. But tying together what Rick was saying, when you look at the price of gasoline, I mean, we are 47% higher when filling up right now than we were at this time last year. Rick alluding to these inflationary pressures, which means for average Americans, I mean, nobody pays more for gas because they want to. They do because they have to. They have to go to work. They have to go to the grocery store. They have to drive to childcare, whatever the reason may be. And even as part of the jobs report that we were just talking about, I mean, wages went up 5.6%, which sounds like yay, but inflation is 7.9%. Gas is a big part of that. Energy costs are a big part of that, which is why Rick, of course, rightly pointed out that President Biden still has to address really the concerns that people are saying, okay, fine, I got a raise, but I don't feel it. Everything's more expensive.
Right.
For me.
I still can't afford the things that I want or that I need.
My groceries are high and I can't go anywhere.
Rick, President Biden has blamed a lot of this on President Putin and oil company executives, particularly the gas prices. He says that the gas companies don't want to increase supply because Putin's price hike means higher profits. Is that a fair accusation? How critical is it for President Biden, in addition to trying to pinpoint blame on this, how critical is it for him to get these prices back down to a reasonable level before the midterm elections?
A lot of nuance lost in that statement. Much more important, I think, than blaming any individual, even Putin or any company, for high gas prices is getting those prices lower. That's going to be the thing to watch going into the fall.
All right. Deirdre Bolton, Rick Klein, great to have you both. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.